Have a lot of old wine corks laying around with nowhere to go? Today we'll be looking at designing and laying out a simple abstract wall art piece that anyone can do. Trying to tackle a project like this may seem a little overwhelming, but it's actually not that complicated once you get into it. As with any art project, breaking it down into individual design elements is a good place to start. And in this case, that's how the corks are arranged next to each other in groups. Here we'll be looking at 6 of those groups. First up is horizontal. This is when the corks are laid on their side next to each other to form curves, arcs, and circles. This generally takes up 1 3/4 inch of space. Next is a double end cut with a vertical. This is created by cutting a cork in half, standing them on their ends, and laying an additional cork next to them. This will require 2.5 inches of space. And then there's the horizontal with vertical. This is created simply by placing 1 cork horizontal and 1 vertical in a line. This will need 2 5/8 inches of space. This next one will take a little more time to get right. It's a double horizontal with a double diagonal, and it will cover 4.5 inches of space. A similar grouping is a double horizontal with a single diagonal. This takes up 3 5/8 inches of space. The last one we'll be using today is made up of a wine and champagne cork stood on their ends with a vertical next to it. And this requires 2 inches of space. Since we'll be designing our template using colors rather than corks, we need to assign a color to each grouping. To create our template, we'll start with a white image and set the size to what we want the finished product to be. I'll make the resolution 100 pixels per inch to make conversions easier. You can use any imaging software that you like, or a pencil and paper, but by using an application, it'll help you keep the proportions right. The most eye-catching part of this layout is the 2 circles that cross in the middle. So create a new layer and draw a circle the desired size. We'll be using Group A to make this curve, so therefore we'll use red to represent it. Group A takes up 1.75 inches, and since we set our resolution to 100 pixels per inch, that means this curve should be 175 pixels thick. Now I delete the excess. In a new layer, draw a circle that will be created using the orange group, which is 2.5 inches thick, or 250 pixels. I want the orange ring to be under the red one, so you can simply adjust the layers. Create a new layer, and let's make the first of our 2 distinctive horizontal bars utilizing Group D. We'll use the rectangle marquee tool at a fixed size for this. We know the width of our entire project is 18 inches, and the horizontal bar is going to be 4.5 inches. Now when we click our template, it makes the exact size that we need. We just need to position it and fill it with the green color. I move it behind all the other layers. I want it to look like it goes over the red circle, but under the orange circle. So to do this, we'll have to delete part of the red circle. Now we repeat the same steps for our next horizontal bar utilizing group E. This bar will only be 3 5/8 inches tall, so we make the necessary adjustments. I try to be mindful when placing it to not leave tiny little slivers of white area that'll have to be filled in with odd-shaped corks later. Fill the square in with our group E color, blue, and place it behind all the other layers. Now we're going to make a few vertical bars out of our C group, which are 2 5/8 inches wide. We want to make these bars the same height as our project, which is 32 inches. And the width will be 2.625 inches. I place one bar right up against our left edge and color it yellow. I want to create a second column right next to the first one, so I do so in a new layer. Place both of these layers behind all the others. In looking at the layout, this large white area here could be broken up by a yellow bar as well. So create another layer, and let's add another bar on the right side. After we move it to the background, we can delete the areas we do not need. Now we can add our final grouping to the top and bottom to finish things off. We'll set our marquee tool to 18 inches wide, 2 inches tall, create 2 of them, and set their color to pink. To give a little more definition, we'll let the pink layer show through in the corners. The remaining white spaces can be filled in with vertical, horizontal, or diagonal corks on their side, whichever seems to fit best. All that is left to do is to save our template out as a JPEG image. You have your design elements and your template. Go grab all your corks and be sure to check out the next video in this series that will help walk you through assembly.